What are you actually involved in as a group? How do you work together, and what is it you're particularly tackling?
Well, we as activists realised that we weren't really secure in knowing about our own history.
What we discover is there's a hidden history, a history of protest and struggle and people coming up with different ideas.
I know that you've been using not just paintings but different art forms to explore history and social movements. So we're going to move on to some paintings that I've found that the National Galleries have that hopefully pick up on some of the historical movements or interests that you've got. This painting, it was done by a man called James Drummond. Do you all know the story? It's actually the scene of the day that Porteous himself was lynched. He's the captain who had fired into the crowd on the day that Andrew Wilson, the man who'd broken into the excise house in Pittenweem, was being hanged. So you were seen as a patriot and a hero if you did anything that was going to upset customs and excise. So when 4,000 people hear about this, they turn into this mob. The politics or the story of protest behind it, where would that be of interest to you?
Portraits kill people, and it just shows you the people fighting back, and they're not going to put up with that.
The mob was the expression of democracy, right or wrong. These are our people. These are the people of Edinburgh that we come for, expressing their anger at the situation in the absence of any other means.
I don't know which is great.
Velasquez, the Spanish painter. It's great, but see if you look at the colour of the eggs in the pan, you see how it's a lighting and that. I love that.
Another one, which is
I really love it.
Thankfully we didn't.
This is our painting here, so again, just make yourselves comfortable. Now, Wilkie, prior to this, had always painted scenes that had a comic element. So there seemed to be a bit of a shift in thinking about what should artists be tackling in terms of subject matter. So this is our poor tenant farmer here, and we've got this man in distress. We've got his young family, here's his wife and her mob cap and the children. So it's a very emotive scene. And we've got all the neighbours who've come in to plead on behalf of the tenant farmer. What's happened to the farmer here is the landowners are pushing up the rents. So he is facing eviction, and this is them taking what worldly possessions that they have in order to account for his debt. So this painting was considered an attack on the landowners.
I feel sad watching that picture because, you know, sooner or later it is going to befall us. You know, I mean, and we're going through what they've went through.
But is there any equivalent famous artists now who are taking up the kind of subjects that he took up? Is there anybody painting us now? Because that's us.
Now, does this have resonance for anybody here in their own particular lifetime?
Well, Muirhouse had an anti-poll tax campaign, but down at Granton they had one, and we had flags out the window. And what we've done is we got people to pee in a basin, and as soon as they come in, we just hit them with it.
But I wondered if there was anybody else here who had a story about it.
We went up to this house, and it was a posh place. I can't remember where it was. Somewhere up there, was it the Grass Market? Somewhere like that. And we stopped the sheriff men. There was a whole load of us in the stair.
And how many folk were in that mob?
Oh, no, I'd say about 50. Really? Must have been about 50.
We went right round the city,
Aye.
protecting people. I mean, you see that in that painting, the neighbours, you know, coming in and pleading your case.
If we were living back then, we wouldn't be rich or anything. We'd be like them as well. because of the council tax, the rent, bedroom tax. There's always something that the government want to take first.
Now, this was your special request to Ken Curry's series of paintings, the Glasgow History mural, which was commissioned in 1987. So what he's done in these 8 panels is he's commemorated social struggle from the cotton weavers massacre, as well as the Spanish Civil War, to the miners' strike of 84-85. His work was very much in the vein of social realism, people's struggle, the stories of ordinary men and women.
For me, it's the Spanish Civil War, probably because my dad was in it.
Really?
He was in the 15th International Brigade, and he was only 18. I find that quite emotional. That painting really represents a lot for me.
Now looking up here, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. All these paintings, and they form a circle. And what the circle for me is, the beginning, the integration and the use, abuse of workers.
Yeah.
From there, right around to there. And nothing's changed. We're still abused. We're still used. And capitalism runs this world.
There's struggles now. We've got food banks that people have to rely on. Heat or eat.
One of our group was 2 hours away from dying. Why? Because he was found in his flat, frozen. We want to be inspired by what we see today. We want to encourage people to get busy, marching, demonstrating. It's no somewhere far away. It's real, it's here, and we need to do something about it.
What I see is the context that it's set in. The working classes were beginning to understand the power that they could possibly have. Factory production gives us a surplus that we can use for the benefit of all.
All the paintings in this room are, I think, dedicated to what we know as the independent Scotland right up to the Battle of Culloden. This, as you know, is the signing of the National Covenant here in Greyfriars. This was signed in 1638. What is it basically about? It's about thinking people, and they're trying to exist together, and they're trying to work together although they have their different beliefs. So the National Covenant signing declares that we support the King, but we don't support his religion. But if you think about it, that's what we're talking about in the world today, how all to live and work together.
I'm very, very proud of the fact that I was born and brought up in Edinburgh. I'm very, very proud of Edinburgh. And my heart went about 3 sizes bigger. My buttons blew off my shirt when I walked in here, looked at that picture and heard you talk.
We used to come here and we used to deposit the bearings on the tables. We occupied this council chamber on a regular basis and take over the building. We used to pour through the doors, and we built tenants associations all over the city, about 40 tenants associations. Everything comes for people signing charters or mobbing and rioting.
The struggle never ends. Everything you want that should be your right, you have to struggle for.